This is a generational heist for the Boston Bruins. If they have made their first trade of this year's offseason, and ladies and gentlemen, it is one very interesting move at the beginning of Marco Sturm's tenure from Victor Soderstrom, former 11th overall pick. We're going to be breaking down this implications this has on this Bruins team and why this is a lot better of a trade than many people are realizing. This is exactly what we wanted to see here to start the offseason, ladies and gentlemen. Before we jump into this trade, though, be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already. Closing in on 7K. We're going to have all your Bruins news here before it comes out, no matter what time. Pretty late in the night here for me now at this point, but we got to get into this trade before tomorrow. So let's jump straight into it and get underway. Now, looking at this trade, Victor Soderstrom was sent to the Boston Bruins in exchange for Ryan Mast, current defenseman on the Bruins, who was in the AHL, and a 7th round pick in this upcoming draft. Victor Soderstrom, as I mentioned, former 11th overall pick from the Arizona Coyotes. This trade, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what the Bruins are looking for when it comes to Marco Sturm and what he had to say to begin his tenure with the Bruins organization. He's looking at making these younger players better. Victor Soderstrom, there's no better option right now than him, a player like him who has gone through what he has at this point to get better. And this is going to be one that we're going to have to touch on now because, people are going to say, this is not a generational heist. We don't know yet if he's going to play or whatnot, but this is a trade that has zero repercussions. If this doesn't work out, call it that. This is not a waste of a trade. Ryan Mast likely wasn't going to get into the NHL at any point soon or be a regular there. A 7th round pick, that could by some means turn into someone crazy, but there is very, very little opportunity for that to genuinely happen. So getting a guy like Victor Soderstrom for basically nothing, someone who, and hold on here, because look at these highlights. Someone who is capable of doing this. This was this season, of course, in the SHL, the Swedish Hockey League. He's a phenomenal player who has not yet been given an opportunity. And a lot of people are saying that since he didn't have an NHL contract, is there going to be any worries about that in his next tenure? We're going to be going over that here in a few minutes as well. But as you see by these highlights, his skills are phenomenal. He is a very, very good player. Very good right-handed defenseman. Something the Bruins have been looking for a little bit as of late. And going over his stats as well, it's gone to show that he has taken a major leap over these past few seasons. When you go and look at this, obviously it's not exactly what you want to see. There's a lot of yellow and red, which means a lot of NHL to the AHL on HockeyDB. But when you get down to the 23-24 season with the Tucson Roadrunners, 62 games played, 32 points in the AHL as, a pretty still young defenseman at that point, right-handed defenseman. Those are some pretty good numbers. 9 goals, 23 assists, and 24 years old right now. So this, of course, was last year, 23 or 22 going on 23 last year. But take a look this year at his Swedish Hockey League numbers. 49 games played. 37 points, 28 plus 28, and then in the playoffs this year, 8 points in 17 games in the SHL. He's been showing a lot of teams that he's been ready to make this NHL roster, but has not been given the opportunity. And, as I mentioned as well, a lot of people wondering if that's going to be an issue where he does need to be signed at some point before July 1st if he wants to play in the NHL in this upcoming season. And kind of we can take a look at this here when we pull up one of these screenshots here from Robert Chalmers here. It sounds like the Bruins have to sign Soderblom before Sunday in order for him to come over next season. Whether that happens is to be determined. Now, this is not July 1st, but Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, which is a couple days away at this point. This is a move that the Bruins are certainly going to be really pushing for if they're thinking about bringing him over right now. We know that defenseman depth on the right side is not exactly where we'd hope it be at this point, and we kind of pull up this here from Bruins Cap Space on Twitter. They have a very interesting defensive side, especially on the right. You go Charlie McAvoy, Henry Jokiharju, currently a free agent, Andrew Peak. And when we go and look at the Puckpedia lines that they have currently for the projections of next season without any signings made, Ian Mitchell is that third right defenseman. And now that's not exactly where we want to be, but let's just kind of predict here. Let's kind of peek into the future for the Boston Bruins. A right-hand defenseman in Henry Jokiharju, who was very good. I would love to see him re-signed. Doesn't re-sign with the Boston Bruins. They can't go out here, and we know that right-handed defensemen are very tough to come by, especially in free agency. A guy like Victor Soderstrom would not at all be a bad third left defenseman, or a third right defenseman, and pairing him with whoever it may be, whether it is Zadorov, Lohrei, Lindholm, whoever it may be, I feel like you can really interchange that entire left side. The Bruins could find themselves here in a very lucky position where they go and get a potential superstar. And I'm going to say that, definitely a bold prediction, but the way that, as you saw those highlights, and we've seen him, an 11th overall pick, he's shown that he's capable of being a very, very good NHL player, just as not when, once again, given the opportunity, and with the Arizona Coyotes, who were not exactly the best team for any young player coming into this lineup. So, looking at the way that he can kind of fit into this lineup here, I think this is a phenomenal look for him early on in his career. And I wanted to pull up from Bruins Network as well. This seems like a very kind of unanimous thing that fans among us are thinking. And Soderstrom, 24, is a skilled right shot defender, selected 11th overall in 2019 by Arizona. 29 goals, 28 points, assists, and 37 points in 49 games in the SHL last season. Mass, 22, right shot defender who hasn't looked like much of an NHL talent. Good value, good chance to take. And I feel like that ending part there, just a good chance to take. You're not really losing anything if this doesn't go well. You're not really gaining anything if it doesn't, but it has a very much, a very much more opportunity for the Bruins to get a big win out of this trade here going forward. Now, I want to pull up the kind of idea where it comes, where he would need to be signed by Sunday, and a lot of people may be worried by that. If that is, of course, the instance, if the Bruins are going to be working on that here over the next few days, this is what a very interesting report here, not Mason March, but that was earlier's video. You go over here to Josh Erickson from NHLTradeRumors.com. Utah RFA defenseman Victor Soderstrom is switching representation as he tries to land a contract for next season. This was, of course, before this most recent NHL season. Phoenix Sports' Craig Morgan reports that he's dropping his agent, which Puckpedia shows as Darren Ferris at Cortex Management. Morgan also shows that Soderstrom, whom the Coyotes drafted with the 11th overall pick in 2019, may opt to play in the top-level European Pro League this season rather than re-signing with Utah. And that was exactly what we saw. Now, this is a very good sign for a few reasons here. When we do go look at this, he was attempting to get an NHL contract, was not successful, and that did choose to go play over in Sweden for this year. But the Bruins, who are going to have quite a bit of cap space, quite a bit of a better opportunity here as well. I don't know if I do have the cap space here. I do not for this one, but the Bruins are sitting around, $20.5 million or so to be able to go and spend that money. Now, that is going to have to be allocated throughout the team on free agency as well. But for a guy like Victor Soderstrom, who really has not yet showed that he can make himself a top player for a contract-wise, this is going to be a great opportunity for the Bruins to, dish out $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million at the most, I would say, for Victor Soderstrom to give him that chance on the right side. And this is going to be a good opportunity as well from not having to go and spend a lot of money on someone that you may not really want to. Get a cheap guy like this. Huge potential, and it goes as a Bruins W. I'm going to call this a bit bold, a bit early in this one, but I still think this trade will be one of the best that we're going to see, or best moves, I should say, here in this offseason. So I want to know what you think about Victor Soderstrom. Do you kind of agree with my takes here? I know some of them are a bit bold, but the way the Bruins can make this trade work out, have him play on the Bruins lineup, or even in the AHL for a little bit, if need be, gives them quite a bit of freedom on the right side there as well. And for not giving up very much, this is an excellent looking deal to start off. But of course, this is only the beginning. We're going to see a lot of stuff. We're going to have a lot more stuff coming out about this in specific. I would probably say tomorrow and through Sunday if we do see a signing. And if it's not Sunday, we're going to have some moves still to be made on the right side. So if you want to get all of your Boston Bruins news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button. Join me here on the channel. And as I mentioned, we're on the road to 7K. I'll be bringing you all your news as it happens. Daily videos, no doubt. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. Remember, let me know what you think about this trade in the comments below. Feel like it's no risk, high reward. Let me know what you think about it as well. But that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.